Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for choosing to hang out here with me today. How have you guys been? So the weather in Singapore, the last I updated was that we were facing a monsoon surge and it was just rain and wind non-stop. Well, the rain has stopped somewhat. The wind has kind of stopped as well, so it's now become really sunny again. And yeah, I actually kind of agree with the weather because it's usually at this time that it becomes very sunny and very hot. I remember this because Fayfee's birthday is actually next month in March. Her birthday is March 22nd, and I remember that after I gave birth to her, after she was born, the weather was so hot and stuffy that I was just perspiring the whole day, even when nursing her and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll always remember this time in the year, February, March, is just really hot and humid. Okay, so let me know how you guys have been. If you've done anything fun over the weekend, if you're gonna do anything fun this week, let me know. So today is Storytelling Collab, and just in case you're new here, this is the Storytime Collab by these people. So we have Hippies, Puppies and Kittens Budget, Blessed Budgets by Abigail, Lisa Grateful Me, Six Girls Budget, and Amy by Nature and Pippa's Aunt. So what happens is Beth over at Six Girls Budget, she was the one who created these challenges. So Fayfee has one that she's doing in her videos as well, and the other two have already been given out as giveaway items. So the winners have already claimed their challenges, and I hope the challenges will reach them soon. So we're gonna scratch 2 more circles today, and I'm going to continue telling you a story about Fayfee and myself. Okay, I'll talk about this later. So we're going up, the ages, right? Let's just follow, Fayfee growing up, right? So the last one was about her, going to the library and basically just babbling over any book that she found, and even though she didn't know how to read at that time. So if speaking of books, right, Fayfee and I, we love reading. And okay, let me scratch and talk at the same time. Let me try. Okay, I really need to learn how to multitask. So what happened was, in our house we have plenty of bookshelves which are full of books that Fayfee and I love to read. So basically I grew up reading as well, and when I was pregnant with Fayfee, what I did was I tried to read, even when she was still in my tummy. And I had this book called The Princess Who Had No Kingdom. Okay, you know what? I think Fayfee still has the book. Let me go find the book and I'll be right back, okay? Okay, I'm back. I have the book, but let me clear up the shavings first. So by the way, we scratched a 5 and a 10, that's $15. Let me just get ready the $15 before I forget. So 5, 10, 15. This money comes from my rollover money in my wallet from the previous week, okay? So $15 going into the Storytelling Collab. So basically this is the book that I read to Fayfee. I got this book from UK when I was there for a 1-month immersion program sent by the Ministry of Education over here in Singapore. So basically they chose a few teachers to go on this immersion program, right, to learn teaching techniques and lesson pedagogies from teachers in the UK. So when I was there, I browsed a few bookshops and I actually bought a couple of books back. Now these are children books. At that time I didn't have Fayfee yet, but I knew that I was gonna have children one day, as in I really wanted children. I love kids. So I wanted to get a book that I can read to my future children. And I came across this book and I find, the title of the book just speaks to me, because you know, we always, I love fairy tales, by the way. So my favorite princess, you know, fairy tale princess is Cinderella, right? And it's the classic story of, you know, from rags to riches, right? But when I saw this title, this book, it captured my attention because I have never, at that time, I had never heard of a princess who had no kingdom. So we all know that princesses and princes, you know, they all lived in castles and obviously their kingdoms, right? But yeah, it just called out to me, you know. So what happened was I started reading this book when Fayfee was in my tummy. So I actually read out loud. So the pictures are really beautiful, by the way. You know, they're really colorful. The words are simple enough, you know, to understand and things like that. So I was reading this book every single night before I slept to Fayfee, who was in my tummy, and I just kept on reading, you know, again and again and again. And the interesting thing is when she was born, okay, I know I was supposed to, you know, talk about her growing up a little, but let me just rewind a little, okay? So basically, when she was born and she was just learning how to crawl, she had toys all over her and she was trying to crawl to, you know, a certain toy to pick it up to play with. I sat there and I started reading this book, right? So usually I did that with other books before, and obviously at that age Fayfee had no interest, okay, and she probably didn't understand what I was doing or what I was saying. But I took out this book one day and I started reading. Like I just started, just started reading. Fayfee actually stopped in her tracks and crawled back over to me, sat in my lap. She climbed onto my lap and she began listening. So the only thing I can think of at that time was she recognized, the words. She may not understand, right? She may not understand at that time what is happening, but she recognized, the tone of voice when I was reading and the words, and she started looking at the pictures, and this quickly became her favorite book, right? So she would pull up this book every single time and ask me to read to her during our reading sessions. So fast forward to at preschool age, at kindergarten and things like that, I cultivated this habit of reading with her. So what I do is I would take certain books, right, of her age, right, like she's ready to read at that age. She may not know how to read certain words yet, but I would take up a book and I'll sit with her on the couch, side by side, and I'll start reading aloud to her. So it may or may not have pictures, it doesn't matter. If it has pictures, then I would just show her the pictures while I was reading. But if not, I'll just read, like, can be just a very simple novel, like Enid Blyton, books from Enid Blyton. Those were the books that I grew up with. I would just read to her and she would sit and listen beside me. So once in a while she'll stop me, what's that? Meaning, what word was it that you just said? Because she probably have not heard that word before, or she probably did not know the meaning of that word, and she would ask and I would explain. So this became a habit such that every single day that's what we would do. So we would do that. It need not be a bedtime kind of thing. It can be just just in the middle of the afternoon. I'll just pick up a book, let's read, and then I will start reading up to her. So if we fast forward a little more to when she could read, right? She could recognize words, she could identify the words, she knows most of the meanings of the words, and she started reading Harry Potter. So I first read, Harry Potter is a series of books, right? So there are like 8 books, I think, 7 or 8 books. I started reading the first book out to her. I didn't know if she could understand the story, the plot, or if she's even interested in magical stuff, fantasy stuff like this. I personally love Harry Potter. Okay, so when I was reading the first book to her, she was just sitting there quietly listening. After the first book was done, I asked her, do you want to continue with book 2? She said yes. So I got book 2, but before I could start reading book 2 another day, she took over the book and she said, Mommy, I want to read. Oh, okay. So I thought she meant she wanted to read it quietly on her own, like silently on her own. But no, that's not what she meant. She wanted to read aloud to me. So she wanted to do the same thing as I was doing, and I find it really cute, and you know, she was just so precious, okay? And she started reading. Of course, there were words that she didn't know how to pronounce, there were words she didn't know the meaning of, but that's when she would stop, look at me inquiringly, and I would explain it to her, I would say it to her, and that's how she learned her language, you know. And to be perfectly honest, I think this is a huge part, a huge reason why Fayfee's English work at school is really awesome right now. Like, she is probably one of the top performing students in class when it comes to English language, and I'm sure if you guys have watched her videos, you might agree with me that she actually speaks really well for an 11-year-old, soon to be 11-year-old. So yeah, I would like to give credit to reading, because yeah, and I would like to give myself a little credit as well. I'm sorry, I would like to give myself a little credit as well, you know, for inculcating this habit of reading in her. And you know, right from my tummy, she recognized this book and all that. So she kept this book. Like, we had a decluttering, you know, we had decluttering sessions, right, for a few years now. Every time she declutters some books, this book will be left untouched. There was once I wanted to give this book to someone else, and she refused because she said this book holds a lot of memories for her. I'm not sure what kind of memories she has, but yeah, so that's the story of Fayfee reading and yeah, things like that. I hope you enjoyed that. So $15 for StoryTime Collab. I will be putting this in my travel envelope. So all the proceeds, or rather all the money from this challenge, will go into my travel envelope. And yeah, so did I mention that Fayfee's birthday is next month? Yeah, I think I did. So basically now I'm saving aggressively for her birthday. She didn't want any party kind of thing this year like what she had last year, so that's a good thing. I mean, in terms of finances, right? So that's a good thing. She did ask for for a gift, a specific gift, a particular device that could help her draw digital art. I was looking through it, and you know, the device came up to a good one came up to about $300. So I'm aggressively saving for that, and I really hope I can get one soon. I think I'm quite close though. I think I currently now have about 230 around there for Fayfee's birthday gift. So yeah, I do hope to get that for her, because she's very interested in art. She loves drawing, she loves coloring, painting, you know, that kind of stuff, and she recently expressed interest in digital art, and I thought that would be a good idea, you know, for her. It'll be a good hobby for her, right? Even though it's a device, and I generally try to steer her away from devices. However, I felt that this might be something beneficial if we can monitor, you know, the time she spends watching the screen, right? So yeah, so $15 going to my travel fund, and that's all I have for you for today for StoryTime Collab. Please go ahead and subscribe to all these channels, and and in my Ko-fi link, this is the freebie that I have provided for all of you out there who are interested in the StoryTime Collab. Please go ahead and download it. Tell others as well. So you can see the theme here is, you know, parent and child, and that's exactly the theme of Fayfee and myself, right, in this channel. So thank you so much for hanging out here with me. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.